Hey guys, today I'll be tying a green foam dragonfly, and I'll be starting with some green uni thread and some green tying foam from Togens Fly Shop, and I could just kind of cut that to size in a long strip. And what I'm doing here is I split it in the middle, and I'm just sliding it up that needle, and then I start my thread a little bit in front of it. Since there's not a lot holding that foam on there right now, these first couple of wraps are going to want to slide around that foam a lot. And so what you're going to want to do is hold it in place with your fingers like so, and take a couple tight wraps around it. And then once you're done, move the foam back out of the way and the thread back up the needle to your next spot where you're going to do the next tie-in. Once you move that thread up, you're going to want to make your next couple wraps to get the next segment made, and then you just kind of repeat until you're at the top of the needle. And I'm going to speed this bit up because it's just the same process over and over again. To secure my thread, I'm going to use a whip finish tool and just do a couple whip turns around that last loop there, and just try to keep it all in place. Okay, now I've put my hook into my vise, and I take the same thread and I move it to the back of the hook, and that's where I'm going to start to tie in my foam extended body. Just so it doesn't slide around a lot, I'm going to use a drop of super glue and then tie that foam in right where that last segment ends. Next, I'm using some black ice straggle, also from Togens Fly Shop, and I'm going to tie that in right behind my foam. And then once I have that tied in, I want to hold that foam back so I can go work on the rest of this body. And so I take one wrap in front and then cinch it down on a peg on the back of my vise, and it kind of holds the foam up there. And next, I'm actually using white streamer flash, also from Togens Fly Shop, and I'm going to use this material for my wings. And so I cut off a clump, and I'm doing one side at a time, so I'm going to tie this in, make sure it's tight, and then cut off the excess on the other side. After I cut that, I'm going to take my next clump and tie it in right on top of the old one, cinch it down, and then cut off the tail ends. You're going to have to be careful here to not cut the rest of your wing off and just cut the short ends on the back side. As you can see, it's not terribly hard to find them, but they can get caught up in it. And now I'm adding a drop of super glue for some mono eyes for this dragonfly, and these are also from Togens Fly Shop. You can get them in green, red, black, and all sorts of sizes. Before I start this next body, I'm going to add another strip of foam. This is also from Togens Fly Shop in a lighter green color. Then I'm going to put a drop of super glue and tie this in right on top of that other foam. And this kind of gives you two advantages here. The fly will float a whole lot better, and you can see it a whole lot better in low light conditions. Now, just so I avoid tying back over materials that I've already put on, I'm going to bring this ice chenille up to my thread, and that's where I'm going to make my next wraps over the foam. I just don't want to go back over the material with my thread and, cover it up and push it down and whatnot. On these wraps around the foam, you're going to really want to make sure they're tight, just because there's a lot of material you want to cinch down, and those bass, when they hit these flies, they're going to hit pretty hard, and you don't want your foam to blow up. Now I've moved my thread up right in front of the wings, and now I'm going to take my ice chenille, and I'm going to also bring them up right in front of the wings. Do a couple behind him, and then do one over, and then a few in front. I'm going to make my next segment right over the wings, and again, make sure you do tight wraps around that foam. Finally, I'm going to bring the chenille up to right behind the eyes and tie it off there. And then once done there, you can snip it off because we'll be done with that. I'm going to make my third and final wrap around the foam right behind the eyes, like so. Then I move my thread right in front of the eyes, right on the hook eye, and I do a couple wraps around just that single piece of foam. This is a good time to snip that excess foam from the top strip, but if you notice, I'm going to leave the bottom one for now, just so I can have an easier whip finish over it. And then once that's done, I'm going to come in, snip it one last time, shape it up to how I like it, and then put some UV resin on it to finish it all up. This fly can work great for smallmouth and rivers, largemouth and ponds, and even some trout, I imagine, would take this fly down. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.
Hit